This is a video explaining how peace conferences work in Hearts of Iron 4. Peace conferences can be triggered out of either one or two different outcomes. The first outcome is if you're able to defeat a country without that country being aligned to a major faction. As an example, if you were able to defeat Sweden, and Sweden didn't go to the side of the Allies or didn't align themselves with the Allies, you'd be able to negotiate the territory of conquered Sweden with the members of your faction. In this case, I am playing as Germany, and what you're seeing here is the second way that peace conference can be triggered, which is I have actually knocked out the entire faction, and that being of the Allies, with the defeat of Britain. If you'd like to see my playthrough on me playing as the German Reich, then please check out the link to my in the description of this video, which will have a playlist to my walkthrough of the German Reich. Anyway, getting back to this video here. So what you see is that I have defeated, well, the Allies have essentially surrendered after the fall of Britain, and now this has given me all of the territory: France, Britain, Poland, Africa, areas in the Middle East, areas in Asia, islands in between, and even some areas here in South America. So when it comes to dealing with particularly large peace treaties, for example, when you defeat the Allies or defeat the Soviet Union, what I recommend that you prioritize when you select the territories is you prioritize the territories that have great strategic value or the most important strategic value for your country. Now, the reason why you want to prioritize the selection of these territories, and you simply click the territories you want to make as part of your country, or you can choose to puppet them. So you don't actually get them as territory for your country, but you turn them into puppets, right? In most cases, I recommend that you take the territory. The reason being is when it comes to defending the land that you're able to take in the peace treaties, if you're to puppet it, the advantages of puppeting it is that you don't have to garrison it with your own force. The land, let's for example, if I just decided to puppet all of Great Britain, then Britain would become its own Axis-aligned faction under its own pro-Axis regime, and it will operate by itself. So what that means is I couldn't really control the infrastructure, I couldn't change the developments on it. They simply just work as their own independent country. Now, the benefit of that is that I wouldn't have to garrison it with my own forces, because it would be up to the AI to figure out how to best garrison it. The downside of that is if the Americans were to go to war with me, and they decided to naval invade across the Atlantic into Great Britain, then I could almost guarantee that the British AI probably wouldn't be able to handle it very well. It would probably result in me needing to pull forces out to handle that invasion and counter it. Whereas if I was to mark this territory of Great Britain as my own, I'd be able to garrison it with my own forces, garrison it along the coastlines here, build up, if I deemed it necessary, coastal fortifications. I could build up the forts, the infrastructure. I have much better control. Obviously, I need to garrison and lose my own divisions to garrison the area, but in my opinion, I find that conquering areas in most cases outweighs the cons of not. So what that means is, well, which territory do you want to get first? Because how this works is it takes turns, and if you go over here in the left-hand bar, you'll see that when the points that I've been awarded is about 4,000, Italy has got 600, Japan 170, and a couple of small points for the other Axis members. Now, how these points are calculated is based upon your contribution to the war. In this instance, Germany was the main contributor to the downfall of the Allies, with Italy then being the second highest contributor, followed by Japan as the third. And so depending on how much you've contributed to the defeat is how many points you are then awarded in the peace conference, which then can be used to spend to either puppet or acquire territory from your defeated foe. Once you've used all of your points, you'll then need to go to the next turn, and when you do that, it will your other allies in your faction will then be able to choose and pick and choose the land that they want to take until there's no land left on the peace conference table for it to be divided up between the victors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead now and start picking the land that I want to add into the German Reich. Now, what I actually want to do is, and what I've been meaning to do for quite some time in my campaign, is to get or to gain the territory off the Netherlands here, Indonesia. Why would I want to go after Indonesia first? Well, it's because the only resource I'm in deficit of right now is rubber. And if we hover over the island of Sumatra here, we can see that they've got 268 units of rubber just in that island. 138 there, which is more than what I require. So what I'm going to actually do, and if we look at even Singapore as well, we've got a huge amount of tungsten and rubber in that area. Very, very, very resource-rich areas. So that's why I want to prioritize and bringing these countries in to the German Reich, because it makes strategic sense for me, and I don't want to puppet them. I do want to garrison it with my own forces as well, and maybe even do a little bit of infrastructure development on the ports and the airports, should I decide to want to go in and invade Australia later on. I'm just going to go ahead now and select all these Indonesian islands. Some of them, like for example, if we look at Papua, the resources of that land is not very rich. Well, let's see, they've got really no resources at all, but this thing is that when you look at the amount of points I need to spend to get that territory, I only have to spend 5 points, as opposed to me to take Singapore, I'd have to spend 157 points. So the more resource-rich the territory is, and the more valuable it is in terms of the factories and ports and everything that it's contained, the more expensive or it will cost in terms of your points to then take that territory for your own. So something to keep in mind there. Alright, so I've been able to take all of Indonesia and Papua from this area, so I'm happy with that. Now, the next area of importance for me is really just making sure that my oil is secured. I don't believe, really the Caucasus in the Soviet Union and Iran and Iraq will have some good oil reserves, but I might just take a look at these Middle Eastern countries here, see if there's any ones that have got a good oil supply, because I do want to make sure that my oil supplies are kept up prior to my invasion of the Soviet Union. I could decide to stop the war here, but we are Germany after all. We're not stopping at partial world domination. Full world domination is the end goal here. Alright, so there really isn't anything of much value here in Africa. I'll probably just honestly puppet Africa. It's just low infrastructure, not much resources. It's not really worth bothering, to be honest. What I do definitely want to make sure that I have is the actual or the land that's bordering up Germany, starting with Poland, so that way I can build up the infrastructure, bases, and everything against the Soviet Unions, which now the Allies are out of the war, are the next biggest threats. Okay, so as you see, I'm selecting this territory. My available points that I can spend on the territories is going down, so I'm going to just keep selecting. I'll see how many territories I can get away selecting until I've got no points left. Sorry, it's not going down, it's going up. My score at the top of the screen here that's the one that's going down. So yes, it is a little bit of a confusing interface. I certainly was confused by it when I first started Hearts of Iron and saw this. It really didn't make any sense to me. So I hope this video is is helpful if you're a new Hearts of Iron player here. Alright, so I'm just going to keep working through this until I've finished this peace conference cycle. Get all this French land. It's also something to keep in mind when you're declaring wars on countries, particularly countries that aren't going to align themselves with the communists or the allies. If you want to just take all the territory yourself and you know that you can win alone single-handedly, don't invite your allies into the war, because then you'll be able to take the whole country for yourself and you won't have to divide it up between your allies. You can just take the whole thing and either puppet it or conquer it or do whatever you want. In this case, when you're going up against the Allies or the Soviets, or the Communists, you do want to bring in your allies. They certainly help. Let's put it that way. So what I've done is I've taken the Britain there, Poland, and the UK. Again, I could puppet the UK, but I just don't want America potentially declaring and then trying to invade over there while I'm fighting the Soviets in the east. That would be not a disaster, but just an annoyance in all honesty. Alright, so I've got a couple of points left. I've got 349 points left here. What I'm going to do is actually secure or take these Mediterranean port areas. So I want to take Gibraltar, and that will allow me to then control the shipping in and out of the Mediterranean Sea, which is a really, it's a strategically valuable location. I do want to control the shipping, or at least block the Soviets from getting supplies through their ports here. I'm also going to do the same down for the Suez Canal, another vital shipping area that will control shipping in and out of the Red Sea to the Mediterranean. So I'm going to grab those territories down there as well. In addition to that, I also want to establish a beachhead over here in America for my eventual invasion of the United States. So what I want to do is get this little piece of land here next to Mexico, so I can drive up from the south. Also want to get some land over here. What have we got? That's Bermuda. Yeah, we'll take that. And I'll also take Newfoundland up there. And I'll also take, looks like this is the Bahamas. We'll take that. Some more smaller islands down here. I'm also going to grab this territory down here in South America. So I've just got a beachhead in South America should I ever wish to invade South America or support a fascist revolution in South America. Just going to go ahead and grab all these smaller islands in and around America. I will use these as naval bases and air bases when I'm ready to invade America, so I much prefer they go to me than to someone that isn't going to defend them well, i.e. the AI. Alright, so I've got 149 points, so what I might also do then is I'll grab this chunk of land up against Canada. I'm pretty sure that Canada will quit or has given up. It's untouched by any of the winners, so no demands can be made against them. They'll just be turned into a fascist puppet, I take. What I'm also going to do is I may as well just go ahead and grab these islands in the Mediterranean. They're fairly strategically valuable in terms of positioning and just controlling the shipping in and out of the Mediterranean. So we grab Cyprus there, we'll get Malta. We'll get this Corsica island. So, still got a couple of points left to spend. Really at this stage it's just a matter of picking and choosing whatever. I'm happy with my conquest there in Asia. Let's see if Indonesia, there's a decent amount of there's a decent amount of resources down here in Vietnam, sorry, so I might just go ahead and grab this French Vietnam area. Right, we're just going to take that, we'll grab the northern sector as well. We've got the points to do it, so why not? Now Hong Kong and I'm not going to even try and pronounce that one. I'll leave those. I'll let the Japanese take those. Alright, so I've got 15 points to spend. Let's see if I can grab something. Might just get something around this area. Let's see if we can get up in and around Alexandria. Yeah, that's going to cost me a lot. Maybe up along the northern coast here. Well, let's just take along this peninsula there. Lovely. Alright, so now that I've pretty much expended all the points that I can... okay. Maybe I have actually spent too many points. So I should have kept an eye on that button. It's a little bit misleading, but once that button gets grayed out, that means you've taken too much, so you're going to have to backpedal a bit. That's cool. What I'm just going to do then is go in reverse order and deselect the areas that I have selected to this point. Alright, I've gotten back to the right amount of points here, so I'm going to go ahead and end the turn. That will pass it over to my allies in the Axis. So it looks like they've gone ahead, and looks like Italy's taken the Mediterranean islands. That's fine by me. So what I'm going to do is just keep on working through the UK until I've gotten all the pieces of land here that I want to have. I want to take the whole island for myself. Alright, that's as much as I can get away with for now. So I'll go next turn, or end turn. Alright. One more, I'll have that. Okay. Now, let's see where else I can acquire some territory from. I might go ahead and grab these Bahamas, considering they're just right off the coast of Florida. It's a strategically valuable position for me for a potential invasion of America. I might go ahead and see if anyone's claimed Vietnam. Vietnam's fairly resource rich. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on that. Lovely. Alright, I've taken that for myself. It's like the Italians have filled up all around the Sinai. What I might actually do is grab this border area with Iraq, and the reason why is because I do want to stage an invasion into Iraq and Iran so I can set my forces up against the Soviets. I don't really want to be doing that off Allied ground. I'd rather do it myself. Let's just get the rest of Syria and Israel. Let's turn off Aleppo. Grab it. I think that's Israel. Sorry, that was Lebanon. My apologies. Alright, now it's really just a matter of picking and choosing. Let's see if there's anything else left. We've got a couple islands here around Havana. I may as well take that. I'm not going to bother with Africa. I'll let my allies take that up. Yeah, look, to be honest, I've got everything that I want. I don't really want to acquire anything else and have to force put units on it to garrison it, because it doesn't serve strategic value in terms of an invasion staging area or a resource area. So I'm just going to go end turn now. Let's just see what else is left on the map. British Raj, Puppet, Satellite Kingdom of Egypt, Palestine, Israel and Jordan, France, Syria, Lebanon. Alright, so that's now the peace treaty concluded. I've taken 86 states, Italy took 51, Japan took 8. And we were able to seize almost 70,000 units of equipment, which is not too bad if you ask me. Alright, I hope that video was useful, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to like, leave me a comment, and subscribe to my channel for more Hearts of Iron tips, tricks, and strategy videos. Thank you very much. I'll chat to you all soon.